inspired you to get into music, at a young age? Because being like in those rural areas, I know it can be tough to find resources, for music and stuff. But what kind of drew you to it?
Well, I come from a big family, 5 brothers and sisters, and Baptist, so we didn't have a television, we didn't have much, but we had a piano, an electric Wurlitzer, one of those real cool 70s style pianos, really with the vibrato you could change. And we had that, and my grandmother would send us her Reader's Digest records, and we had a record player, and I'd listen, and I just loved the Beethoven symphonies, the Ninth in particular, and I'd try to figure it out on the piano. And then this girl, Karen Overton, started taking piano lessons on Wednesdays after school, and I was in love with her. So I asked my mom if I could take piano lessons after school. They were 50 cents.
50 cents a piano lesson.
Yeah, 50 cents.
Yeah.
And then, so I got to kind of hang out with her after I was 10.
Yeah.
But I really liked the records my grandmother sent, and I loved the strings and just the fascination with all the instruments coming in. I would try to tell my friends on the school bus about it, and they couldn't figure out what I was talking about. You know how it is when you're excited about something, and you just think everyone else would be too.
Right.
But it's not. It's just your thing.
Yeah.
And everyone else thinks you're weird. It's kind of like that, and that manifested itself into the piano, and all that excitement just kind of went into that one source.
At what point did you kind of realize that you were onto something here?
When I was 12, the pianist at my father's church couldn't play, and I was able to read the melody lines in the hymn book. Okay. And so I played with one hand. I played the melody line with my right hand, and I was able to manage a little accompaniment, a little harmonization with my left hand. And I just kind of did a crossover trick, and that freaked everybody out. And so I just kept doing it. And,
really?
Yeah, that's when it kind of clicked in. I would say late 11 or maybe 12.
Okay. So your father was impressed?
It was the first time, I ever saw him interested in anything I did,
Yeah.
And so that kind of pushed me forward, and so that's when I figured things were going all right. Got to be about 19, I had a job. I was playing the piano on the weekends at the Lynchburg Hilton, in the lounge, and Natalie Cole had a concert in the area, and so I learned a set of Natalie Cole's music, and because she was staying at the hotel.
In preparation for her to come.
Oh yeah, I thought to myself, maybe she's going to come down to the lobby.
Be a good opportunity.
And I had this, my girlfriend had a camera with her, and I had this fantasy of her walking down. I was going to be playing Unforgettable or something. She's going to come over to the piano.
So singing.
But she didn't come down. But her manager did.
Oh really?
Yeah, her manager came down, gave me a business card, and said, "We'd like to hear you. We have an audition. We have a few spots coming up. If you'd like to, maybe have a substitute position, or come out and let's hear you play. Let's give you something like it felt like a screen test, So I went down to New York and I had an audition, and I ended up playing with her off and on with the orchestra for nearly 11 years.
Oh wow. So you started here in 95 then?
95 or 96.
95 or 96?
Something like that. Yeah.
And how long were you here for?
I was both years.
Oh, so
I did the whole thing.
You did the whole thing. So you graduated with the
sure. I graduated and I went from here to Syracuse University on a music scholarship and academic scholarship because of I was able to get my grade point average up here, and Dr. Moore had made some phone calls on my behalf to Steve Heyman and Fred Karpoff, and I got a half tuition taken care of.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I credit OCC with that opportunity. I wouldn't have been able to. It was $36,000 a year at SU at that time, and having half of that chopped off.
That's huge.
That's great.
Yeah. What you mentioned, Dr. Moore. Do you want to go into detail about your relationship with him?
Yeah, Dr. Moore's great. You know him well.
Very well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been here 16 years,
and
so
good.
I worked with him on a couple different projects and stuff. But yeah, he's a great guy.
So you know how he is with the students. You'll have your lessons, and he'll talk about what book he's reading. He's got this way of just kind of. He's got so many stories, and really good ones too. I mean, like when he met Bernstein, or all his years studying with Robert Goldsmith, and all these people he met through him, and he's got that, he's kind of got that charm. He's just a good guy, and I was a little bit older than the other students.
Sure. So you had a way of appreciating it.
Yeah. So we had a different sort of, I would say, interaction, because I was married and working professionally,
right.
And a little bit older. So we would talk about real things, And I just really liked him and admired him, and nobody plays the late Beethoven works, better than him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a fact.
Were there any other faculty that
Yes.
that you had?
Dr. Miller. There was a guy, I think his name was Donald Miller.
Donald Miller.
Is
yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
He was real cool. He got me interested in music history, and he wrote this great orchestral piece called Finger Lakes Suite or something like that.
Okay.
Syracuse Symphony did it, and he gave me tickets to go see that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy that did Psychology of Men. I don't remember his name. I was thinking about it on the way up here because I feel the guy actually influenced my way of playing the piano a little bit because he almost never spoke. He would say, "So, what is it women find fascinating about men?" And he would just kind of look at the window. He would do this.
And just wait.
And he would just kind of turn around. And so from that, I just thought he's not scared of silence.
Sure.
Space,
Yeah, being comfortable.
Yeah, just being comfortable. And in my kind of music that I'm playing, it's like space is, if you can manage it,
right.
And when you're working as a composer, you got the opportunity to form the music how you want. I don't have to do repertoire much anymore, So so I think about him.
Mm-hmm.
I think about he said so much with so little, And I think that speaks very clearly for melodic lines and phrasing. You can't overdo the ear. You can't overdose, on an ear.
Just kind of an extension of that. What did you learn and hold on to, with your community college experience? I mean, you said you went on, to SU,
Yeah.
and what were the intricacies and the, the values that you kind of learned here that you kind of, hold true until today and. That kind of stuff.
I would say two things. I would say the student-teacher relationship, because you got kids coming here. It's if you're a resident of the county, it's cheaper. It was $1,500 a semester when I was here, and that's cheap. So you get the kids who would not normally go to an upper level school, Stanford or something. They come here, but coming here gives you the opportunity to get the 2 years of prerequisites and then to go somewhere else. But what really impressed me was just the quality of education here. The music department, a legitimate 2-year program at a community college. And at that time, there wasn't that many music programs in community colleges. I don't know if that's changed, but it was rare.
Right.
And then to have people like Dr. Miller and David Abrams and Kevin Moore, and you went to the professors' houses at Christmas for, we set Dr. Moore's living room, and I went to
with him and Selma.
Him and Selma, and their dog Schubert. I would say the program here competes with, high-level university music programs, but just the involvement of the teachers. Dr. Moore in particular. When I think of OCC, I think of Dr. Moore and the attention he paid and how you got to know him personally. And he's such a cool guy, so you know how he is.
Yeah.
So whatever you feel about him, try to imagine as a student coming out.
Yeah.
And
you said you went off to Europe, and with that, I guess you found kind of like your professional self at that point.
Sure. Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
I was working a lot here.
Right, with Natalie Cole and stuff.
Yeah, but I also had regular stuff, the children's theater. That was a daily job. So I had a good income coming in from like playing the musicals. And that's fun.
Sure.
So you got the adults in the evenings, and you got the kids in the day, and you put on the productions.
Yeah.
And the Salt City Theater. I got to do a lot of the stage stuff there, and I had a church job and a choir. So it was kind of piecing together things to make a living. So what I did was I sent out a bunch of letters to local institutions out there, the opera, and just I sent a demo tape to 2 places. One was a recording studio. I thought maybe I could be used for session work, and the other one was a church. And the studio liked my recordings, and they sent it to the head office at Sony Records, and that's when I got the contract for Sony Records.
Oh wow!
And you just never know how things are going to work out. You just send it there, and just some guy who knew a producer said, "Hey, this guy like his way of playing. The last project you did in London, this guy plays a lot like that, and maybe I can use him." And that was 23 years.
Wow!
23 years I worked for Sony Records. Total.
How's how can you compare life in Europe to the States? Like,
Ooh.
so you've been there for a while, so you must
Yeah.
like it there. So
Yeah, sure. Well, you know, I've lived in like 6 countries, 7: Poland, Ireland, Italy, Germany, Switzerland.
Sure.
Russia for a little while. Well, you know, it's different.